Joe Lossett is a long-time grinder from this area. I played him in multiple PTQs, local tournaments, like whatever he is. Been around the block a few times.
I have also played him, so he's definitely a regular in tournaments in this region.
Yes.
He is on the right of your screen playing red-green aggro. Nathan Enyart is on the left of your screen. He's playing Esper Control.
Right. So the Esper Control deck, pretty similar to the one that we saw earlier. No copies of Gideon anywhere to be found in the deck, which is a deviation from the list we had on camera earlier.
It does have Elish Norn, however.
Yeah, a singleton Elish Norn, which...
Joe's deck looks like a pretty standard green-red beatdown deck. He has one copy of Garruk, is really the sort of standout in his deck. He has a pair of Thruns, which are cards that could be pretty significant in this matchup in particular.
Yep. Enyart's also found a way to cram a Drown Yard into his Esper list, which we were discussing earlier as being...
ambitious. Right,
yes.
Well, Enyart, one that I roll is on the play, opens with Isolated Chapel. Joe Lossett has a Forest and a Bird.
Revised Forest and Revived Bird is taking me back to a similar time in my life.
So Lossett has a flip card that is a Dark Ascension flip card, so I'm guessing it's Huntmaster.
Should be attack with my bird and giant growth twice. Never mind. All right.
Love Lossett. And there's a sword. So sort of War and Peace here, coming down thanks to that Mana Leak not being accessible because of Nathan's pair of come to play tapped lands.
Right.
So here, I just ride the sword.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, obviously he could be sandbagging removal, but because it's so dangerous to let Joe untap with his bird in the event that he's not going to equip and just cast something else, he's sort of compelled to use a Doomblade or something on that spot.
I mean, if Joe had, see, I don't think I even cast that. I think I just equipped the bird. That you have to Mana Leak that if you're Nathan, I think.
Oh yeah, there's no way you can't.
Yeah. And just passes the turn. All right. Well, and now Nathan is going to get
Liliana
online. And Joe does not have that Strangler Geist to kill it.
So I think the reason that Enyart was willing to sit back there because he had Mana Leak and go for the throw or Doomblade in hand.
Sure.
So he could cover against both scenarios.
Okay, so he was actually in a reasonable spot regardless of how Joe played that. And Joe seems to be stalled on land here. He does have that sword, but it's not really going to be all that threatening, in particular when Liliana starts ticking up and reducing Nathan's hand size as well. Yeah. So Joe with a bunch of cards he can't cast.
So Curse hitting the graveyard for Enyart and an Art Trail.
And a Birdie.
He's drawn an Elf, which he will cast.
Elf.
There's a little bit of a hesitation there because discarding a Curse could represent a second Curse, but he's willing to just... Doesn't really have a choice. You can't not cast it.
So...
Staring at hand at Leak. Go for the throat, Day of Judgment, and Consecrated Sphinx. Chooses not to take up.
To you. It's gonna die.
It dies. And he draws an Oblivion Ring. Really just wants that 6th land to stick the Sphinx.
Oblivion Ring and the sword. And just says go. And there's another Birdie. Not really what he's looking for.
He has an Elf and a Bird. So he must have drawn one the turn that he sorted up.
Yeah. And
Isolated Chapel, so still no 6th land for this turn.
Just day.
Yeah, he's just going to day right now to try to set up.
Yep.
Consecrated Sphinx on
back down to 2 forests. Still
just really got Manic Blast. Alright. And we're going to Liliana our land away. And that should be a wrap.
Yeah. Resolving a 6-drop against red green is generally game, even if they have some stuff in play, and Joe has, nothing.
Woohoo, a red source.
Right on time. Ooh,
All right.
Okay.
I mean, Liliana's on 3 or whatever, but we get to do this old staring contest.
And I mean, Joe doesn't have many resources. So if they just draw a bunch of cards, then I think Nathan just gets to. Oh, he's not gonna draw.
Yeah.
Huh.
For the.
All right. I guess he figures he's just in control.
I buy it. For those of you who've never seen that interaction before, 2 Consecrated Sphinx means we keep drawing until someone says,
I've had enough.
Yeah.
So, Huntmaster, sure. Mana leaks it. And I would have conceded way before now in a playtest game. But
Yeah.
This is a tournament, so you got to play it a little bit differently.
The StarCityGames.com demo booth. It's going to be closing down over the course of this round. So you got about
Like I said,
30 minutes.
on camera I'm pretty fast. I'm pretty fast to concede. I have the opposite philosophy.
Yeah, that will be open again bright and early at 8 a.m.
There's an Elish Norn. So that's pretty cool, I guess.
Just in case we needed backup.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually really like not casting the Elish Norn there. You don't want to show it. It's
Sure.
a big information.
Yeah, Elish Norn is a card that your opponent can realistically actually plan their game plan differently, whether
Build their deck differently, yeah.
Right.
Or sorry, sideboard differently, but yes.
Yeah.
When in a winning
Basically
position, there's
building your deck.
no reason to show more information. Lingering Souls is reasonable for Lossett to anticipate, so you're not really giving away any information that way. Although this is not just a camera thing, I played Lossett in the draft open in Vegas last year, and he sat and took an Olivia for God knows how many turns of having his dudes killed and stolen before finally submitting. So
Digging in deep. All right, so Nathan draws a Wrath that he's gonna have very little. Oh no, here comes.
we're just gonna
He
do
just
it
wants
this
to end
way.
the game.
Yeah. All right.
I've had enough.
All right. Fine. You win.
You've convinced me.
All right. So Enyart quickly up a game there. Going to the sideboard, we have.
Joe Lossett has 2 Sword of Feast and Famine, 2 Dismember, 2 Ancient Grudge, 1 Naturalize, 1 Daybreak Ranger, a Thrun, 2 Active Aggression, a Garruk Primal Hunter, 2 Increasing Savagery, and an Arc Trail.
So, sorry. Go ahead.
So I anticipate him wanting. He certainly wants to take out his Galvanic Blast and Arc Trail in his main deck. I could see him wanting to take out. Certainly his Daybreak Ranger as well. So maybe even a couple Brimstone Volleys. He has 3 Brimstone Volleys in his deck. You need against a deck like Esper. You want to have just higher impact cards. You can't really afford to have cards like Galvanic Blast that really aren't doing much, aren't really presenting a significant threat. One of the problems that red green can have is that so much of its power is in its ability to go mana creature into sword. Mm-hmm. And if your opponent is able to answer that, as we saw that game, I mean, granted that game Joe was stalled in land, but because the opponent was able to answer his started mana creature into sword, he didn't really have much else at all going on.
Yeah.
The issue that I really have with red green aggro is that you are really so reliant on that because you just don't have a good 3-drop creature. There's no significant board presence 3-drop creature. There's Daybreak Ranger. That's not a fighter. You don't want Daybreak Ranger in a matchup like this.
Yeah, a lot of these decks I feel are almost compelled to play swords, not out of an active desire, but just to have something to fill in on 3.
When you play mana creature into Strength Guys, we were saying this earlier.
Yeah.
It's just this is just kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
You just played an accelerator into a 2-drop.
Right.
And when you Zenith for a Strength Guys, that's pretty good. But actually playing a real 3-drop power creature is much more significant.
Do you think a guy like like on a literal trained Armadon would be enough for you to make the cut? Would that be enough to make the cut? Do you think, or
no? I don't.
Just too low
think
impact.
So, like, I mean, I could see a lot of decks that would play. What's the 4/5?
Leatherback Bailoff?
Leatherback Bailoff. Yeah, Leatherback Bailoff would be good in a lot of these decks. I mean, granted, it makes it a lot more difficult to play stuff like Wolf Run and that many red
Township
cards.
and whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, like in red green, you can if you sort of like shave down the the amount of red you have, shave down the amount of Wolf Runs you have. Just the ability to have like a body that big. It's a lot different casting a triple green card than it is casting a triple black card like Geralf's Messenger, because you have birds and elves. So you actually only need to draw 2 of your green sources if you draw one of your mana creatures. And the power of that creature matters a lot when your deck is able to do as much damage as a red-green deck can.
So on the other side of the equation here, we have Enyart, who has, this is pretty popular in these Esper or blue-black control decks, to basically have a lot of singletons in the sideboard, because you're trying to cover different bases. He has another Day of Judgment and a Sever the Bloodline, both of which seem quite good. Maybe do you think he wants his one timely reinforcement?
I would board in timely if I were him. And I would not want to see timely if I were Joe.
Yeah.
So.
And then nothing else seems.
Phantasmal Image I think is actually pretty good.
Just as a Thrun.
Image is good both to kill Thrun and to copy Strong Rootgeist and slow your opponent's beatdown.
Sure.
I've even had success copying mana creatures to be able to play my Day of Judgment early, or to be able to play like a 6-drop early.
I just have some amount of apprehension about bringing in Phantasmal Image against the decks that have Wolf Run, because sometimes you get in these free roll spots.
But I mean, like if they're Wolf Running, they're spending a lot of mana, and mostly what you're trying to buy is time.
Yeah. And certainly killing Thrun is worth
a
lot.
Thrun is a major threat. He does have one image in his main deck, but and no Sun Titans. So we sort of seem to have gone beyond that point in the Esper world.
Yeah.
It's a world of lingering souls now.
And for the foreseeable future. All right, Lossett appears to be going back, and Enyart seems happy with his 7.
Going to Paris, as it has been known.
That is just another dated reference in a day of dated references.
I'm an old man. What can I say? In the world of Magic.
Yes. Paris mulligans and cranberry references and.
Talk about Jason Gordon.
Yeah, just as.
I'm sure at least 3 people out there got my references. At least 3.
I don't know. That seems like I might take the under.
We'll have to ask if you understand my references.
People are gonna lie just to agree. People are just gonna lie to agree with you, dude. It's not fair. All right, so we're underway. Should get over it. Yep. Force and Bird for Lossett.
It looks like a naturalize in his hand.
It appears to be a naturalize.
No action on turn 2.
And Enyart just drew a negate. He has one in the main and one on the board. I'm not sure if he brought in the second one, but.
And a Ratchet Bomb. Lossett, I believe, had a naturalize in his hand, and he's just going to draw a card. He's playing Thrun. All right. Thrun Dog Millionaire, as he's known. I didn't even get a reaction.
I think. Come on, man. You gotta try a little harder than that. I think there's a disagreement about whether Enyart went into his turn or not, because I think he wants to add a counter to his Ratchet Bomb. And
I believe Enyart tapped his land, or touched his land as if to untap him, and now he's saying he wants to add a counter Ratchet Bomb, and Joe's saying, well, he clearly had gone to his untap step.
I don't think there's going to be. I think there's one guy that's next to him.
So we will be settling this disagreement, I suppose.
Yep, and he's untapped.
Yep. Glacial Fortress.
An army of tapped lands.
Yeah.
And just one Thrun though.
So I think Lossett's hand is just all land.
Just land.
And that natural.
He's all in on Thrun.
I guess that's why he did not. I was gonna say, I guess he didn't naturalize it because who cares if he loses his bird or whatever, but.
Looks like he cares. I think I see Timely Reinforcements in Nathan's hand.
Yep.
Timely Reinforcements does a lot to stop Thrun. Buys so much time. There's another bomb. Was that Timely?
Probably not. It seems like too attractive to not cast, right?
I mean, maybe he wants to keep open Mana Leak. He's afraid of something.
All right, so Lossett with a Strangleroot Geist off the top.
I mean, Timely's going to have a similar impact next turn. Although with the Strangleroot Geist, it's actually would be much better to have it this turn. And it looks like Nathan has Negate, Day of Judgment. I think that's Timely.
It's a go for the throat.
Yeah. So I think he's going to go for the throat. The creature that can die. He can target. Won't die, but comes back. 4 damage puts Nathan down to 12 life. Ratchet Bomb ticks up. And Nathan draws another Day of Judgment.
Yep.
And is that Timely? No, that's Divine Offering.
Oh.
That makes a lot more sense that he's not casting it.
Okay. The mystery's been solved.
We figured it out.
Is Thrun just going to go all the way?
I mean, that is one thing that Thrun does. 4 more damage. And second
Seems like
counter.
you want to draw. It seems like you would want to just play your land because you have Wolf Run in your deck.
Yeah. And there's a Sphinx, but no 5th land. So Nathan,
This hand is awkward.
Yeah. Just says go.
Reactive cards that don't work. Cards
Take
you
your
can't
face.
cast.
Thrun your face.
Come on, Honest Abe, get her done. Just one more hit.
I do nothing but attack and block, but I do it very well. All right. Oh.
Batter Skull.
Oh, that's not gonna do it. Just cast Day and hope he forgets.
Come on, Thrun, one more. Almost there.
He's hoping he plays a sword so he can divine it.
He can divine his Ratchet Bomb, right?
Oh, he doesn't realize he can divine buffering his Ratchet Bomb.
Maybe not. I mean, he's still in the same spot next turn.
Well, if he draws a land, he can cast the Batter Skull he drew.
And then he chumps again, and then he plays Sphinx.
He doesn't chump. He gains 4 life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he's got some draws.
Yeah, if he
you might as well do it.
If he divine offering and drew land, he's actually in good shape.
Yep.
Players, as you finish your final
way to go, Thrun.
round of Swiss here, as you finish,
I attack.
I believe you
I
are-
attack.
What do I do?
I attack.
Block, sometimes attack mostly, but that is it. That is it.
If you believe you're in top 8, please come up. We'll have some instructions for you.
All right, so
A lot of people.
game 3 here.
We got a lot of people on Twitter pretending like they got the Jason Gordon reference.
It actually was 3. you put the line at 3, and I got 3 people who responded, so they got it. It's a good line.
Yeah.
Maybe you should work in Vegas.
Yeah.
All right.
I consider a different stage of my life the sports betting world.
Yeah.
So I am at the office when we do prop bets on random stuff. I am the one who sets the lines.
I am amused by the fact that there are not in the U.S. that Pinnacle does set lines on Magic tournaments. But anyway, on to this match. Going to game 3, Nathan Enyart will be on the play this game after being thrunned to death.
Yeah.
For those of you who are just joining us, this is the final round of Swiss here at the StarCityGames.com Standard Open in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Brian Kibler. I am joined by Patrick Sullivan, and we have a battle of control versus aggro. Nathan Enyart with Esper Control on the left of your screen, Joe Lossett with red-green aggro on the right of your screen. We're going to game 3. If Nathan Enyart wins this game, he will be sweating his tiebreakers to see if he makes the top 8. Joe Lossett is playing for top 16 pretty much. He has good tiebreakers, but he's only able to get to 21 points, which cannot get him into the top 8.
Yep. The Lossett is a man who concedes for no man. Gonna make him earn it.
Actually, looking at this, if things go very weirdly. Actually, things go very weirdly. If Joe wins, he could make it, right?
Yeah, there's always the fuzziness of who is actually drawing.
Right, and who's paired and stuff.
Right.
Oh, we may have. Oh no, it's just people talking about Thrawn. no one else who got it. 2 more people.
Yeah.
Just talking about Thrawn.
Yeah.
All right. So
do you think Enyart maybe goes back in sideboards a little bit differently since he had a bunch of do-nothings in his hand?
Yeah, I mean, like the negate seems weird to me because all the threatening cards out of Lossett's deck, other than equipment, are creatures.
Yes.
And I can understand Divine Offering because it's easy to fall behind Sword. He knows that Lossett has swords, and you want to have something that can stop it from actually connecting with you after your opponent's invested mana in it. One of the really impressive things of something like Divine Offering, unlike negate, is you can use it after the fact, and you can force your opponent to invest more than their initial cost into it. Killing an equipment with Divine Offering is devastating because your opponent's they've not only cast it but had to equip the creature with it too.
Yeah. And all the while, you can be picking off their tempo in other ways with kill spells and counter spells and whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, negate does stop Green Sun Zenith, which is a pseudo creature, but
it just seems like the stars
it does so little against most of the cards that matter, I think.
And Joe is going back. Both players are going back.
Yep, you're going to have a 6-card hand for both players this game, assuming no one goes any deeper.
Yeah, it just seems like the stars have to align pretty specifically for negate to be castable in the first place, much less like a good exchange.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to want to be using your mana to deal with your opponent's creatures, and you don't have to hold up a negate when your opponent can just play a spell that just can't be countered by negate.
Just crossing your fingers, hoping against all hope.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's they'll close your eyes and imagine the card you want your opponent to play, and then open up and it's there. Like that happened to me a lot when I was playing Mirrored Unlimited, and whenever my opponent would tap 4, I was hoping it was like the 3/3 that couldn't untap Artifact unless they paid 2, the Goblin War Machine or whatever.
Sure.
I just close my eyes and imagine a Goblin War Machine on the table, and sometimes it was. It's power of positive thinking,
Yeah. The number of times I imagined Simoon on top of my deck in Porto, Chicago.
Yeah.
So she's like, you have 2 Rashadan airships in play? Taking us back.
Yeah.
God, that was 12 years ago? Wow.
Tie-dyed shirts had only been out of style for 30 years at that point.
I wasn't wearing one at that tournament, okay? There are definitely some choice clips of me from the Ron Foster tag from Porto Tokyo. I'm wearing this incredibly something tie-dye shirt. Pretty nice. Oh, so apparently
Joe has accidentally flipped over one of his cards while drawing 6. So I don't know if there's some sort of
I don't know what they're doing here. So they're apparently getting a ruling from the head judge or something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, so we're going to resolve this. I'd be surprised if it was a significant penalty, but they got to clear this up. I mean, if you go back to my grinding days in the early 2000s, I definitely completely bought into the throwback jersey thing when that was a thing. So there's some completely ridiculous pictures of me from.
I remember there was a time when I was sponsored by a website, and I actually refused to wear their T-shirts unless they made me a tie-dyed one, or unless they gave me one that was a white one instead of a black one, so I could tie-dye it. And I actually found it doing laundry the other day. I was just I specifically insisted on wearing this. Not only I wore this, but this is what I was I have to wear this, so I'm not going to wear this shirt. I have long been a fashion icon of the Magic community.
Right.
Oh dear.
I misplaced. I had some sweet powder blue Montreal Expos throwback. That became an actual throwback when they contracted the team or moved it to DC or whatever ended up happening. And that one's been lost somewhere in some box. But the Padres one I still get some wear out of because I go to Padres games semi-regularly, once every couple weeks or whatever.
We were actually just discussing how nice it is in Phoenix, that we're in the convention center and it's right around all the sports stadiums. Actually having a city that has its sports stadiums actually in the city, like San Diego with the Padres. Here we are.
Welcome back.
It's sort of part of the community, aside from being something that's way out in the suburbs.
The Pistons play 45 minutes outside of downtown Detroit or whatever. And at the point you're not really connected.
I understand.
And that was a big deal with the. Oh, it looks like we got this resolved.
All right, cool. We have some magic. Brief clip of us. Back to the magic. So, figuring out what the resolution is.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah. I don't actually even exactly know what the opponent, like your opponent reveals a card in their opening hand when they're
I don't know if he like revealed the card like off the top of his deck or if it was a card.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, if he accidentally showed a card to his opponent, that's not like a thing, right?
Yeah, I don't really know why this has become an issue, but it seems to be resolved.
Okay.
Basically, Nathan knows that Joe has a Stranglegeist.
They appear to both be going to 5
anyway. So we had a long discussion about what the repercussions of this are, and it apparently is both players get one less card.
Yeah, but that's growing up in New Jersey or whatever, that complex, their sports complex is like not near anything.
Sure.
It's like part of the reason I think the Nets ultimately had such horrible attendance all those years. Just like going to the Meadowlands is horrible. Driving into Newark is even worse.
Yeah, not really a huge sports fan growing up. Not really a huge sports fan now, but I definitely can appreciate the sort of environment that having the sports sort of directly in the city brings to the sort of city downtown.
Yeah, it just gives a lot of energy. I mean,
absolutely.
Clippers season ticket holder and like the atmosphere before the game, it's just like there's a lot of excitement. You go to the bars, people are excited, whatever.
I'm excited for this.
Yes, I am too. 4. Need something to root for, I guess.
Who do you think is favored as they mulligan lower?
I would rather be on Lossett's side of the fence.
Yeah.
Just because Enyart has a much higher risk of drawing too many expensive cards or weird reactive stuff, and Lossett can just go like dude and the dude, and Enyart is likely to struggle against that sort of draw with his 5 cards.
Absolutely, yeah. Enyart in particular, I mean, his deck already is pretty greedy as far as just mana is concerned.
Yes.
Color-wise, he's playing 3 colors and double color spells in all of them.
I don't think he's actually played a land untapped yet.
Oh no, he hasn't.
two pretty long games.
And Lossett carefully picks up his 5 cards.
All right.
It looks like we're ready to go. Enyart continues his tradition, taps Drowned Catacombs. Lossett passes back after a basic forest. An untapped land. It's a miracle.
I believe his hand is...
Actually, that's not a miracle. It's an island. Island is not a miracle.
It's not a literal miracle.
Is it a figurative miracle? Zenith for 1. And a Think Twice.
And Enyart hand, I believe, is 5 white cards.
Yeah.
He's like got
a bunch of white cards, a Drowned Catacomb, and an island.
And this is a big draw for Enyart right here. He needs a white source stat.
Yeah.
He's got like Timely Lingering Souls. There's a Forbidden Alchemy.
He has no land at all. And Joe has a Grudge.
Is that Mana Barbs?
Grudge? No, that's a Grudge.
That's a Grudge?
That's an old school Grudge.
Okay.
I guess... Is he some Ratchet Bombs? I guess it was a Grudge Ratchet Bombs?
Ratchet Bomb isn't even that... It's not even especially good against him.
I'm a little confused by seeing that in his deck.
Does he know about Batterskull?
I don't know that he saw Batterskull. I think last game Nathan died without being able to cast Batterskull.
Alright.
So Joe doesn't have another land either, it looks like.
I think he's going to metamorph his bird. This is pretty risky.
It's a dangerous play. But Nathan's hand is all uncastable spells. So, I mean, granted, Nathan also almost certainly would have killed that bird if he had a removal spell.
Oh, good, an Elishnorn.
Right on time. I just keep seeing cards in Joe's hand that I'm just so confused about. Well, there's Thrun. That one I understand. Yeah. I'm not confused. Ooh, all right.
The Evolving Wilds or the Drowned Yard?
It's Evolving Wilds.
Okay, that's good.
Drowned Yard. The Drowned Yard would be a
The Drowned Yard would be a fitting end to this one.
So it looks like we're going to have a Strangleroot Geist. Oh. Yes.
Tapping his mana.
Birds to cast it. And 6 spot. Nathan goes down to.
So anyone's going to be able to fire back here, untap and cast Timely Reinforcements and start to stabilize the board. That's a ton of time for him to.
Yeah, Timely Reinforcements matches up extraordinarily well against Thrun, and even well against Geist.
Yes.
You know, you'd be able to trade with a piece of the Geist, and then be able to potentially Day of Judgment away the board. Sans Thrun.
Minus Thrun, yeah.
And draws. I think that was Isolated Chapel. No,
It's
I think it's
Black Blue.
Shores.
Yeah.
Timely.
Sure.
Up to 20. Lossett's hand. It looks like Lossett's hand is Active Aggression, Ancient Grudge, and another card that I can't really identify.
Ambitious.
It's difficult for me to understand why these cards are in his deck, but he draws another Geist, that's a good draw. So if he's trying,
he's got to be worried. He's got to be worried a little bit about of Day of Judgment, right? Like that's got to be on his.
Yeah.
He still needs to draw untapped white mana, which is asking a lot. But
he has to have untapped white mana and Day.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, Joe can't really afford to just.
He can't not cast his cards.
Yeah.
Or can he?
Is he just attacking with just Thrun?
It seems like a very. It seems like he's just playing around Day of Judgment.
He's not casting his Undying Creature to play around Day of Judgment?
Oh yeah, that I can't. I mean, maybe is he trying to? Maybe Curse is on his radar. I don't really know.
But even Curse, like, I am perplexed. I mean, just attacking with Thrun every turn is making that Time of Reinforcements into like triple Time Walk, quadruple Time Walk because of the life gain. So
we're just going to send in one again.
Yeah, I mean, maybe his plan is like he hoping for him to like play a 6 and then just Active Aggression and kill it. I mean, maybe now he's going to play a Stronger Geist
after combat.
Well, I mean, I can see the reasoning that I can sort of imagine here is that he doesn't want to play Stronger Geist and just an attack and have it get blocked and then Day of Judgment kill it.
Right.
That's the sort of line of thinking I can see what's going on in Joe's mind there. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can see like that would be sort of the reason that he would be making that sort of sequence of plays. But not casting it now. Like what's he holding on to it for? A rainy day?
So
Nathan now has Day of Judgment, which he didn't before. He hasn't for several turns. Just alchemied into it.
No, he took Isolated Chapel. He's had that day in his. I think that day might have been in his opening 5.
Okay, I could be wrong here easily.
Lingering Souls again, just grinding.
Yeah, I mean this is just Thrun's never gonna hit. Like if you're, if your plan is just to try and attack with Thrun a million times, like
it ain't happening.
And
another Evolving Wilds.
I think I'm gonna just flash that back. Maybe not if your plan is Day, but
yeah, it is suspicious though, right? Like, I guess he could be representing Mana Leak, but Lossett has like a million mana, so
I just can't see how this is going to win the game. Like you're just letting him get to an enormous sum of mana, and I mean we see Elvish Storm in Nathan's hand. I mean Joe doesn't know it's there, but Elvish Storm's just going to come down and just demolish Joe's side of the board.
Yeah.
There's no undying from that one.
Although it's possible Lossett can set up Act plus Haste Creature or some scenario like that, but
yeah. I mean that's the reason you'd have Act in your deck would be something like wanting to hit something like a Titan or an Elesh Norn. So I mean, like, best case scenario is you know, being able to like grab an Elish Norn and pump a bunch of your creatures, but you don't have that many creatures that could possibly still be alive once you steal the Elish Norn. So it's really very rarely going to do much damage. And I mean, Nathan's still at 20 because Thrun's been the only guy attacking. And he's getting chumped every turn. And now, I mean, we're just going to see Elish Norn come down here. How? Just going to kill all of the guys. And this game is not looking at all how I would have anticipated it playing out. You know, when we were seeing you know, 4 or 5 turns ago. Elish Norn eats those guys. Spirits come in for 6 damage. Now Joe's the one down to 12.
Yeah. Although in Lossett
at 20 life.
In Lossett's defense, if he didn't anticipate.
Oh, a Brimstone Volley to the face.
Oh, is Act plus Strangle Regress just lethal?
Is it 15?
11, 5. Is he 1 short?
I don't know. He's got a draw step.
Yeah, well, he's a 5th land regardless.
What, that's 6, 10. Yeah, he's 1 short, even if he Act Geists. That's certainly a reason to hold Strangle Geist if your plan is to act an Elish Norn, but that seems...
He doesn't even necessarily know.
He hasn't even seen an Elish Norn. Maybe he knows his deck list somehow, but...
And it's like, even there, like, if that sequence is on Enyart's radar, he can just leave his creatures back and never, you know.
Well, his creatures are going to die.
Yeah.
Die
You're right. I'm sorry.
The Elish Norn switching hands. So Lossett just says go. It's never where you want to be. So I'm going to see them all attack. Is Elish Norn attacking?
So that's going to knock Lossett to 10?
Yep. No, Lossett took 6 last turn.
Okay.
Yeah, Lossett should be at 6 now, I believe. Because he took 2 from playing the Metamorph and has now taken 6 each.
And 6, yeah.
So yeah, he should be at 6 life. So yeah, we had recorded that he'd taken 2 damage last turn when he in fact took 6. Thanks to Elish Norn. Alright, so Enyart, I believe, is going to flash back his Lingering Souls here.
Yep.
Is that double Grudge in Lossett's hand?
He's not casting anything.
He just has a fistful of cards. He, I think it's 2 Grudges.
Does Active Aggression have the weird end of turn, untap and take it to my turn thing?
I don't know. I believe it probably does.
And there's the concession.
All right. Well, Nathan Enyart takes the match 2 games to 1.
So we have,
and he's going to be sweating his tiebreakers to see if he makes it to the top 8, I believe.